Harish, who was inside the court, has finally come out and he's on the phone line. Harish, you've been sending us regular updates. It has been a marathon 5-hour hearing. The Supreme Court has now reserved its order.
Yes, it was a very unprecedented 4.5 hour long marathon hearing, at the end of which the Chief Justice has reserved the case for pronouncement of judgment. The court, Chief Justice bench today gave a patient hearing to all the parties. The petitioners were Arun Shuri, Yashwant Sinha, Prashant Bhushan. The court also in detail heard Attorney General K.K. Venugopal, and most importantly, court had even summoned a senior Indian Air Force official. They were also examined on the deal, and there was also the defense secretary. Defense secretary also in the court. Certain crucial questions were also asked to him. So it was a detailed hearing, at the end of which the court has reserved orders in the case.
Now, during the course of the hearing today, there were several arguments made. There were several demands. ML Sharma began by demanding a CBI probe to bring out the truth. Then it was Prashant Bhushan's turn, who said Apex court monitored probe is a necessity. They also demanded that all the details of this new Rafale deal must be disclosed. And now, towards the end, we heard arguments on the offset clause and the intergovernmental agreement.
Exactly. The petitioners, led by Prashant Bhushan, Arun Shuri, and Yashwant Sinha, they said prima facie there is serious wrongdoing, and which comes under criminal conduct under the Provisions of Corruption Act. Certain exchange agreements were changed at the last minute to benefit Dassault and Anil Ambani, and this amounted to corruption. So there is a prima facie case. They said that the Chief Justice should take cognizance of it, direct the CBI to register an FIR and order a probe.
Now, there were several objections also raised by the petitioners during the course of the hearing. And Harish, you are the best person to really tell us about the details of what happened, because some of the objections, and I would like to highlight them, was no sign or stamp on the documents. This was ML Sharma and also Prashant Bhushan. They began by saying this today, and then they said, why secrecy on pricing of Rafale? Why was earlier deal cancelled? Why was the tender process circumvented? Some of the key questions there.
Yes, that was the initial objection raised by Prashant Bhushan and ML Sharma. They said the documents they were provided had no signature, no seal, and this even could be a fake document. And they were trying to ascertain if this is the same document which the government had filed in the court. But the Attorney General said that the petitioners were only given a gist of the summary as per the direction, gist of the report as per the direction of the court, and the entire documents which were filed in the court were duly signed, had those attested and the signatures. So it was a proper affidavit, and whatever they have submitted in the court is true to fact, because this is a sworn document, and if the government is lying, they could even be hauled up for contempt. Even the Prime Minister can be hauled up for contempt if what they sworn on oath is something is wrong, if the facts are wrong.
And in what came as a certain relief for the government and as a setback for petitioners, Harish, today, was that the CJI agreed to the arguments of the plea made by the Attorney General, where he said that we can't be discussing the price of the deal in public.
Exactly. The price factor was not much discussed in the court, because remember, the Chief Justice also gave the discretion to the Attorney General, said that if we have certain objection to certain facts, we won't compel you to discuss those. And remember, Attorney General also significantly said, first of all, the court was wrong in admitting these PILs, because matters of defense procurement, national security cannot come under the judicial scanner. That cannot be reviewed by any court in the country. This was unfortunate that these petitions were admitted by the court. First, it should have been dismissed outright.
Now, tell us about the submissions made by the IAF official, because it's not every day, Harish, that court summons top officials of the government midway during the hearing in a case.
Yeah, exactly. It was a very different scene when the court and Chief Justice Ranjan Gogoi wanted to discuss certain things with the Indian Air Force, and asked Attorney General K.K. Venugopal was there any Indian Air Force senior officials present in the court? Attorney General said, no, we were not prepared for it. Then the Chief Justice said, this is a matter pertaining to Indian Air Force. Some senior officials should have been here, summoned him immediately. Then remember, Chief Justice gave the Attorney General just 10 minutes. Within 10 minutes, they were here and they were asked about the need for Rafale for the Indian Air Force. And the other question was, which all countries were using Rafale and when was it inducted? The Indian Air Force said that it is used in Egypt, Qatar and France and described about its utility, which prima facie the court was convinced about.
The process was discussed in detail. The legal know-how and the technical details of the Rafale deal was also discussed in detail. The order is reserved. Harish, do we have a date?
No, in such cases, no date is specified. When the judgment will be delivered, will be made to know. We will come to know a day in advance when it will be specified on the case list for the next date of the next day. So we will come to know a day prior when the judgment will be delivered.